Hello, today I will be reviewing the Techno-Thriller book, The Andromeda Strain, which was written by Michael Crichton, and I will give a summary of the book, pros and cons of the writing in the book, and an overall analysis of the book. The Andromeda Strain is a 1969 techno-thriller novel written by Michael Crichton, and also his first novel under his own name, but his sixth novel overall. It is written as a report about a team of scientists investigating the outbreak of a lethal extraterrestrial microorganism in Arizona. A team from an Air Force base is deployed to recover a military satellite which has re-entered to Earth, but contact is lost abruptly. Aerial surveillance revealed that everyone in Piedmont, Arizona, the town closest to where the satellite landed, is dead. The duty officer of the base, who was given the task of getting the satellite back, thinks that a return with extraterrestrial contaminant and recommends activating a protocol for a government-sponsored team of scientists intended to contain threats of this nature, called Wildfire. The Wildfire team, led by Dr. Jeremy Stone, thinks that the satellite, designed to capture upper atmosphere microorganisms for bioweapon exploitation, returned with a deadly microorganism that kills through nearly instantaneous blood clotting. After an investigation of Piedmont, the team discovers the town people either died in mid-stride or went insane and committed bizarre suicides. Two survivors, the sick, STERNO-addicted Peter Jackson and the constantly crying baby Jamie Ritter, are complete biological opposites who survived the organism. The two survivors and the satellite are taken into the secret Wildfire Laboratory, a facility which has every known protection against microorganisms escaping into the environment. Dr. Hall is the only scientist authorized to disarm the automatic self-destruct mechanism because he is presumed to make the most dispassionate decisions during crisis. Further investigation determines that the deaths were caused by an extraterrestrial microbe transported by a meteor that crashed into the satellite, knocking it from orbit. The microbe contains chemical elements required for terrestrial life, which are hydrogen and carbon, and also appears to have a crystalline structure, but lacks the DNA, RNA proteins, and amino acids present in all forms of terrestrial life, and directly transforms energy to matter with no discernible byproducts. This microbe, codenamed Andromeda, mutates with each growth cycle, changing its biological properties. The scientists learn that the current form of Andromeda grows only in a narrow pH range. In a too acidic or alkaline growth medium, it will not multiply. Its ideal pH range is 7.39 to 7.43, within the range found in normal human blood. Jackson, the old man, and Ritter, the screaming toddler, survived because both had abnormal blood pH. Jackson's acidotic from consumption of STERNO and ASPIRIN, and Ritter's alkalotic from hyperventilation. Wow, what an amazing discovery. Now the story's over, right? Nope, absolutely not. It goes wrong, of course. By the time that the scientists realize the way that Andromeda multiplies, it has already mutated into a form that degrades the lab's plastic seals and escapes containment. Trapped in a contaminated lab, Dr. Charles Burton demands that Dr. Stone inject him with a universal antibiotic, but Stone refuses, arguing that it would render Burton too vulnerable to infection by other bacteria. Burton survives because the mutated Andromeda is no longer pathogenic. The mutated Andromeda attacks the synthetic rubber door and hatch seals within the facility, rapidly migrating to the upper levels and surface. The self-destruct nuclear weapon is automatically armed when it detects the containment breach, triggering the detonation countdown to prevent the spread of the mutation. But wait, it doesn't end here. Remember earlier, when it was found that it can change energy directly into matter without any byproducts? They realized that the nuclear blast will allow Andromeda to consume the released energy and benefit from the explosion, forming a large indestructible biofilm within a day. And it gets even worse. Remember how at the start of the story, Dr. Hall was said to be the only one who can disarm the system? Well, it's true. He must insert a special key that he has into an emergency substation, one of which should be accessible by any location in the Wildfire facility. Unfortunately, he is inside a section that, due to an oversight, has no substation. He must navigate Wildfire's obstacle course of automatic defenses to reach a working substation in an upper level. He barely disarms the bomb before all of the air is evacuated from the deepest level of the complex, which contains the remainder of the team and their assistants. Andromeda is suspected to have eventually mutated into a benign form and migrated to the upper atmosphere, where the oxygen content was lower and better suited its growth. The novel's epilogue reveals that a crewed spacecraft was incinerated during atmospheric re-entry, presumably because Andromeda had eaten its tungsten or plastic laminate heat shield and caused it to burn up. Now let's move on to the pros and cons now that I have told you the entire story in a nutshell. The pros are that it is very well written, it is also very intriguing, the entire story keeps the reader's attention throughout the entire thing, and has eloquent vocabulary and advanced concepts that are well explained to the average layman reading it. The cons, and well, the only con that I could think of, is that it may be a little bit violent for the faint of heart. Overall, I think it is one of the best works of literature that I have ever read, and I highly recommend the book to anyone who is interested, even though it is 350 pages long. Michael Crichton truly was an amazing writer, and I recommend all of the books that he wrote. The runs that I have read are all very interesting and have drawn me into the world and narrative that he was trying to portray. Alongside that, he seems like a very good person in general. I have watched a few of his interviews, and he seems like he would be someone wonderful to be around. In conclusion, this was the Andromeda Strain, and I highly recommend it with its pros and singular con. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.